So I'm here with Andrew Renzi for this is the third time we meet actually. Back-to-back years at Sundance with last year he came with the short the Fort, and congratulations on a second entry with Karaoke.
Thank you.
Programs 3. We're actually at Sundance the week before, prior to, in the Sundance Labs with a feature.
Yep.
This is called Franny.
Yeah, it's currently called Franny.
Okay.
Title.
Okay. Working title. What's well, first of all, that experience, as you know from your Borderline compadres, is very vital in making great films. I mean, Martha was a product of that, and so I'd like to know, how is that experience for you in terms of taking what you already assembled, what you had as an outline, and then workshopping it with people that have done everything for the past. I mean, they did Beasts, they did Fruitvale for this year. They
Reservoir
did
Dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the 90s. How was that experience like?
It was amazing. I mean, because I went there with a script, with a set of parameters on my own side and sort of guidelines of kind of where I wanted this movie to go. And then what was so great about the experience was that when you get there, they pair you up with advisors, and they just have this sort of like magical process that they've created over all this time that they've been doing this, sort of perfecting it, where like they put you with people that you're gonna work well with. And so my whole process ended up being this incredibly just sort of energetic, very almost like manic sort of like digging into this piece of paper that was in front of us, and ultimately finding out like what makes me, like what gets me off, like what is the point for this for me. And then by the end of these 3-hour meetings one-on-one, you have a collaborator. You're sitting across from a collaborator, not a teacher. It's very much like it's so great because none of these people don't have horses in the races. They just want to help.
Exactly.
They're there to help, and they're experienced. And I think everyone probably has their own experience for sure.
Okay.
I can say that my experience was often felt very macro, where it was like, okay, there's something bubbling here that I know, that, okay, a lot of times it would start with, tell me about what you want this to be, because my writing, especially with this script, there's an over-intellectualization to a lot of it, and there's too many ideas. There's just, or too many things I'm trying to like maybe do, and the best advice that I got was, let's figure it out, let's boil this down, and find the essence of these things, and find out who these people really are, and it doesn't have to be this kind of idea of like, well, people are complicated. They do lots of different things. They think lots of different ways. I mean, sure, that's true. But in the framework of a film, you really need to be confident in the decisions that you're making about what these people are doing and why they're doing them. And so that was kind of a great lesson, because it was almost like there was a moment when I was sitting with one of my advisors, and she just basically pointed something out very specifically in the scene, from a structural standpoint, and I had this sort of aha moment where I said, oh, well, that's what a screenplay is. It's like we're out of the territory of just writing, and now we're in movie writing. That's what it means to write a movie, and that was just a wonderful moment for me.
How did you get Clémence on board? How did you reach out? How was
cool.
that set up?
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, she was doing a Broadway play in New York.
Okay.
And her day off was Monday, and she was friends of friends, and I think maybe I'd met her once at Fortnite because she was there with Joan of Arc.
Okay,
And we were there with 2 Gates Sleep, and so we met very briefly out there. But I didn't know her, but Brady suggested because my only parameter was that I wanted someone foreign to play the girlfriend. I wanted someone that was not American.
Okay.
And then Brady, that's the right guy to ask those kind of questions, because he can be a casting director for every foreign actress in the world if he wants to be. He knows them all.
He's extremely knowledgeable.
He knows them all.
Cinema.
He knows them all. So he suggested that, and he said, well, coincidentally, she's here, so I sent her the script through Brady, and it was a very, very, very simple script, and she read it and said, all right, you know what, this sounds like a Monday, you know, like let's just do this on a Monday. And there wasn't any sort of stress about like it didn't feel like making a movie for her. I think it was like, oh, this is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Like, we can go and do this on a Monday, and I can meet some new people, and we can do that. So that's where it came from.
That choice location, first of all, the film is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful to watch from
Thanks.
beginning to end. Where was that location? Where?
It's called Pulse Karaoke. It's in Midtown. It's on like 42nd between 5th and 6th.
Okay.
And I did a lot of karaoke scouting for this because I wanted the very specific location, and it has
Did you switch up a lot of the look of the place?
You know what's funny is like literally not at all.
Okay.
There was some
minor lighting, I imagine.
Yeah, we actually had this one beautiful big neon sign.
Okay.
That we were gonna put out, and it broke, and so
Oh.
that was like the big piece of production design that was
okay.
gonna exist.
Great.
And it smashed, and so that was a raw space that really worked out well, yeah, it kind of has that. From the beginning, we knew we were going to be shooting anamorphic, and that space has this 2001, or has the Milk Bar kind of quality.
Yeah, you're somewhere else.
The Corbet Milk Bar quality to it, so it's like we sort of knew that the dimensions would be right for it. Yeah, that was a great find. That place is great.
Tell me about the centerpiece. I mean, there's a lot of songs in this film. I think the count was 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Different songs I'm familiar with, but
Yeah.
the centerpiece song is the rendition of this Four Non Blondes
Four Non
thing.
Blondes,
Yeah, I
What's
forget.
Up? Yeah.
Yeah, What's Up? Why that one? Why did you choose that one? Is there a specific reason behind the?
Yeah, honestly, it's the song I'm happy that we got, but there was, before we were shooting, the centerpiece of this film is music for me, and so I was kind of throwing shit at a wall until I found something that I would be able to use. Because getting rights to something for a short film especially is
Murder.
next to impossible, especially if you're not wanting to pay. So it was really about, I put a list together, a dream list of songs, a huge dream list of songs, and then Josh Kessler, who was a music supervisor, is a great music supervisor, reached out to every single person, and we got probably like maybe out of like 25 songs, maybe 3 that we would be able to use. Luckily, that was one of them because this was at the top of my list. So,
okay, great.
And so that's where that came from, and then from that, which was kind of cool. So then we made our own version of that song. That's the instrumentals and the synth. It's all original. It's its own mix. And then when we ended up doing that and we shot the karaoke scene with that mix in the editing room, I was like, this is so awesome. I'm gonna use it as score now too. And so I slowed that mix down to like 65%, and that's the opening score of the film.
Yeah.
So there's sort of like that reprise, I guess.
It really is nice.
Yeah. So that was nice. So, and that, and at the end of the day, it's like, it's almost on the nose, to be honest with you. Like, what's going on? It's like he's in this karaoke bar singing "What's Going On."
Let's talk more about Brady's character. He's how can I say this? He's not totally he's not mentally there, I guess. I don't know what's the best way.
He's not present. Yeah,
he's not present. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like you mentioned before. It's a very personal film for you. I was thinking, is there a rapport between that difficult time in your life with this whole escapism idea of what music brings to us? Sometimes I was wondering if there's what's the pattern there, I guess.
Yeah, the pattern is definitely, there was a period in my life when so the film is based on this period in my life. My father was sick, and when he was diagnosed with cancer, they told me I had about a month to live, and they ended up living for 3 years after that. And this film is this kind of like fictional metaphor of those 3 years, where during that time, we knew that the cancer wasn't going to go into remission. It was never going to go away. So therefore, we also didn't know when he was going to die. And so there was this long period of extreme necessity to be available and to make sure that I was not going to miss the big moment, but also just be there for them.
Yeah.
But I was also 20 years old and reckless,
Yeah.
and living my life, and like because of that kind of that experience, and like my dad was my best friend, I wasn't necessarily reacting in sort of like healthy ways, and so this film ends up being this sort of representation of like of denial and trying your best to be present and be available, but at the same time not wanting to admit that you need to be there all the time, and music can really be your best friend. It can be your worst, because you can just kind of get yourself out of anything.
Yeah.
You can lose yourself in anything, but you can also emotionally connect to it, and so feel as though you're being present. It's like there's a moment when he's in a car and he's listening to music and he's sort of scrolling through the radio and he finds a song, and there's this thing where it's like the idea is just sort of he's connecting to something at that moment, but it's not genuine, because nobody else is. He's not doing a service to what he's really supposed to be doing. It's more just sort of connecting with with himself. It's a little selfish. So the film is kind of like it's about really me dealing with the fact that during that period there was a lot of difficulty trying to keep myself together and not deny the fact that this was really going on.
Yeah, you're assessing all this. I mean, it's a huge emotional upheaval. It's just heavy.
Yeah.
And that's why this.
Yeah, it's heavy, and I think like ultimately tried to kind of like convey the universal aspects of it, where it's just like avoiding a situation. People go through it all the time. It's just like avoiding problems, and I wanted to personalize the film in such a specifically personal way, because I wanted to make the love letter for my father. But I was trying my hardest to say that if I didn't do that at the end of the film, it would still exist. This film could still exist on the same framework of cinema and on that level.
Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.